Hello, retail traders. I want to bring you a trading idea that I use on a daily basis when I'm using the sneaky snake trading strategy. Last week I gave you the 3 black crows and the 3 white soldiers, and I want you to pay close attention to them candles right after them crows and after them soldiers, and that will tell you basically if you're into a reversal. Now we're going to talk about the head and shoulders. This is the inverse head and shoulders. It's just the opposite of what you'd see on the head and shoulder, which the head, where's she at? There she is. The head and shoulders is a formation that's getting ready to tell you that you might be in for a downtrend or maybe a consolidated period or just a profit take it period, because people can recognize charts. So they're just in there taking profit and ready to buy the dip. Or could be some news hit, and then all of a sudden you get that right shoulder dip. But to be prepared for it, you know it's coming. You can get out at the high. It gives you like a second chance, maybe a third chance to get out of the trade. You know, chance number 1 dips on you, chance number 2 dips on you, and then chance number 3. But we're going to be talking about just the opposite. And this is one that I really like to do. This comes up common on a daily basis, and you could see it show up on the SPY, the SPX, or any other high volume trade that you're looking at, because you need a lot of good volume when you're looking at a trade like this. So let's go ahead and go right into the SPX. Now, the head and shoulders, sometimes referred to as the head and shoulders bottom, sometimes referred to as an inverse head and shoulders. It is a reversal pattern that shares many common characteristics of the head and shoulders top, but relies more heavily on volume patterns for confirmation. And you like to see that volume pick up when you're seeing one of these trades. So I'm going to draw this trade out to you and show you exactly what it looks like, and you can recognize it when you're looking at other trades. I'm going to go ahead and erase this off here. We're going to look at the whole day, because you had a couple of them. You had one right here, and then you had that break this morning when it pulled back and just broke back and found support. But this is the one we're going to be talking about right now when it started bouncing off the 200 SMA, and that's another part of the snake that I like to use, is the 200 SMA. So as you start to form a pattern, you get 3 triple bottoms right here, and it's forming what you would call a symmetrical flag in a downtrend. And I think I might have a diagram of that. Let me see if I can post it up real fast. Oh, let me see. I didn't think about that earlier. I could have probably showed this to you. Well, you're creating what you call a symmetrical flag, and they usually happen on a triple bottom. So you got one bottom right here, another one right here, and another one right here, and then boom, she goes ahead and drops. Okay? But eventually it's going to find the bottom. This is called a symmetrical flag in a downtrend. And that's what you see right here, is symmetrical flag in a downtrend. And this gives you plenty of time to even take a trade within a trade. But when you see that triple bottom, you ought to expect the next thing that's going to happen. And that's going to be that downtrend, so you want to be prepared for it. So what it did is it created a head and shoulders. This is the head, and this is the neckline, and then you got the shoulder line right here. So I'm going to draw a shoulder line straight across, and I'm going to go ahead and clean this all up. We're going to start fresh, so you can kind of see it a little bit better than how I draw it out. So do we see the symmetrical flag and the triple bottom come in, and then we see the snake start to fulfill itself. So what I'm looking for is a reversal pattern. and I'm looking for a stable spot where I can draw in a shoulder line, which was this bottom right here, these two bottoms, somewhere in this area. So I'm going to draw a trend line across these bottoms right here, and that's going to be the shoulder. This is going to be the neckline. It's going to be up in here. They're not always perfect, okay? So let's not think that they are, because they're not. And there's your neckline right here. Whoops, I thought I had the right trend line. Now I have to go over here. So that's your neckline. This is your head, your shoulder, and your neck. So as it starts to come back, and it's registered already your neckline, and it starts to break out, and it does break out, and you missed that trade, wait for it to pull back. Now see, I would have probably took this, because I'll show you another trade that I can take on this right here. But I'm going to show you right now how to play the inverse head and shoulders. So as this thing starts to come back to the shoulder line, you know that you've got you a reversal pattern into close. And you can take that trade and call the lotto and run that up into close at the end of the day. So again, this is your neckline, your shoulder line, and your head. And that's just one reversal pattern that you can play. And then also, I'm going to throw in here another one. We're going to clean this all up. That's called the inverse head and shoulder. This is one that I come up with myself. It's called the sneaky snake trading strategy. It's called the reversal that I take and I draw me a snake, somewhat like this right here. And I see that pattern. So once I see that pattern, I'm formed what you call a double bottom. Or then I notice that we also have an inverse head and shoulder. So I'm able to recognize the snake as it's starting to come down. And then as it's starting to come down, it starts to build into that inverse head and shoulders that I talked about, which gives me the trading strategy to take that trade. Which is, this here is your channel, your shoulder channel, then your neck channel. So I'm able to spot it coming down through the snake, and then I'm able to get out at the double top. So that would be your exit idea. And then you would be able to take it again, mind you. Once you found that support and that breakout, you'd be able to take it again and run it up at the end of the day. So you exit the double top. And that's why, a lot of traders won't tell you that you have an opportunity to get out of that trade. And actually that's a triple top. But you'd want to hit that double top and go ahead and get out of that trade. And then be happy you did, because it dropped right back down to that shoulder line. So it's important to spot patterns. It's important to spot patterns. And if you're able to spot this coming down and say, oh gosh, we got us a double bottom down here, creating maybe a shoulder. If it dips out any more, comes back up, we might be able to have us a nice little trade once it breaks out of the snake. And then it also came back and hit that pivot point inside of that channel of that shoulder, and you had an opportunity to take that trade, but getting out at the double top. Okay, so that's basically a couple good patterns to take. I'm going to type in this here. This is one that you've got to know when to get out of them trades. And hitting that double top resistance, or that triple top failure, you got a triple top here, comes down, fails, comes back up and hits that triple top. It's a natural idea to get out of that trade. So that's it. That's the inverse head and shoulders, a popular trade that I do like to take. And just remember, once it starts to build itself and comes back and hits that shoulder line, right there is a good opportunity to take that trade and run it up and have it break out of that pattern. And you have that reversal play. and spot them other patterns that come into the trade. That's a key too. Recognize, oh, well, we've got a symmetrical flag and we got a snake coming down here. And we definitely got some resistance now that we broke below it. So maybe I want to run it up to resistance and it keeps falling down. Or it breaks out and I want to pull it back to what was resistance, now becomes support. That's it. I hope everybody enjoyed that little seminar on the inverse head and shoulders. And welcome to the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy. Have a great day.